On the night of August 21st, 1986, something invisible rolled out of Lake Nyos in Cameroon. By sunrise, thousands were dead. It began with a thunderous sound, like an explosion deep under the water. Villagers nearby saw a white cloud rise from the surface and spill silently over the crater rim. Within minutes, the cloud spread across valleys, blanketing everything in its path. By dawn, the scale of the disaster was devastating. Entire villages were motionless. Families were found lying where they had been sitting, as if sleep had overtaken them in an instant. Cattle dropped in the fields, birds fell from trees. In total, over 1,700 people and more than 3,000 animals were dead, yet the houses were untouched. But signs of life in the village vanished. Scientists later discovered the cause. Lake Nyos sits on a pocket of volcanic rock, and over centuries, carbon dioxide seeped into the deep waters, trapped under pressure like a shaken soda bottle. That night, something disturbed the balance. A landslide, perhaps. And the lake erupted, releasing a lethal cloud of CO2. The gas was heavier than air, so it hugged the ground, suffocating everything it touched. Those who survived described the silence as the most horrifying part. Today, the lake is still dangerous. Engineers have installed pipes to slowly release the gas and prevent another eruption. But Nyos is not unique. Other lakes in the region hide the same threat silently. What makes the disaster so disturbing is the way it happened. Just an invisible cloud, creeping through the night, robbing entire villages of breath without warning. Something you cannot see, hear, or outrun. In July of 2001, the people of Kerala, India, looked up at the sky and saw something they would never forget. The clouds opened, and instead of clear water, the rain pouring down was red. White walls bled with streaks of red. Villagers said it looked like the heavens themselves were crying blood. At first, many thought it was some freak dust storm. Others whispered of omens, signs of war, disease, or divine punishment. Some even refused to touch it, believing the rain carried sickness or curses. Scientists rushed to collect samples, and what they found only deepened the unease. Under the microscope, it contained countless particles that looked biological, tiny, living spores. This raised terrifying questions. Was the rain seeded by some unknown organism? Was it alien? Reports of blood rain aren't new. Ancient Roman historians described it before plagues and wars. Medieval Europe recorded skies that wept red before famine. To the superstitious, it was always a warning. And here it was again, in the 21st century, falling on modern towns and villages. Eventually, the official explanation pointed to local algae spores that had been lifted into the atmosphere. The red pigment, they said, was natural, harmless. But not everyone agreed. Some researchers claimed the spores didn't match anything known in local flora. Others insisted the rain's sudden appearance and its return in bursts for nearly 2 months was far too strange to dismiss as coincidence. To this day, many locals don't buy the scientific answer, because to them, it was something far darker. And when you've seen that with your own eyes, no scientific report can take the chill away. On June 30th, 1908, Siberia. The morning sky exploded. At around 7:15 a.m., nomadic herders and villagers saw a blazing object streak across the heavens. Witnesses said the sky split open with a deafening roar, followed by a flash brighter than the sun. Moments later, a shockwave rippled across the taiga. The ground shook as if struck by an earthquake. People were thrown to the ground. Windows shattered hundreds of miles away. When the dust settled, a forest nearly 800 square miles wide had been flattened. 80 million trees, all pointing outward in a perfect radial pattern from a single blast zone. Yet, when explorers finally reached the remote area, there was no crater, no meteorite, no fragments, just scorched earth and silence. For decades, scientists debated what could have caused such destruction. The leading theory is that a massive asteroid, roughly the size of a 25-story building, entered the atmosphere and exploded before impact, releasing the force of more than 15 megatons of TNT. To put it in perspective, that is over 1,000 times more powerful than the atomic bomb dropped on Hiroshima. But the mystery doesn't end there. If it was just a meteor, why has no trace ever been recovered? No fragments, no minerals, nothing conclusive. Some suggested it was a comet, vaporized entirely before touching ground. Others, less conventional theories, claimed it was an alien craft, a weapon test, or even Nikola Tesla's experiment gone horribly wrong. Whatever the truth, the Tunguska Event remains the largest impact event in recorded history. And what's most disturbing is that it struck in one of the most remote places on Earth. If the trajectory had shifted by just a few hours, the fireball would have exploded over St. Petersburg or London, wiping out entire cities in an instant. It's been more than a century, and the forest has regrown. But the scars remain, and so does the mystery. To this day, Tunguska is a reminder that sometimes the universe doesn't need a reason to erase everything in its path.